I was told I'd never have to do one of these again. It's like, hi guys, welcome back to PBTV, and we have a new L85. My opinion on L85s is well known, but we are going to look at this thing. We're going to look at its features, start at the front, work our way back, and jump inside, because this is the newest version of the L85 A3. Does have the M-LOK front end instead of the H key or the key mod front end that is on previous versions, and obviously is the most up-to-date in British standard issue rifles. Obviously, this does have a MOSFET inside it, so there are some features on here to look at. Out the box, it just comes as is. The charging handle is loose in the box, and you do have to attach it. It's to protect itself and make sure it doesn't get damaged, along with the iron sights. So you do have to do a little bit of, very tiny bit of assembly. But we do have the standard bird cage on the front here that can be taken off, and there is a thread under there. So you could put a device on the front of that if you see fit, if you wanted to suppress it and just have it a little bit quieter. G&Gs are inherently quite quiet by themselves, so adding that feature just means it's even quieter, especially for your targets downrange, because again, noise for you doesn't really matter. We want to keep the target downrange, unaware of your location. So again, coming back to the rail system, this is the external parts that's changed. Obviously in that dual tone setup, it's almost like a Ranger green, like a foliage green on the front and the tan back, but we do now have M-LOK, and it is functional M-LOK as well on the right and left side, and we do have RIS at the bottom. We've just thrown a little grip on here for some shooting in a bit. Again, normally it is a mag pod that's on the issued variant, but this is just what we had around the office just to throw something on. Again, it is just M-LOK on the center sections. These bits at the top and the bottom, these are M-LOK. They're sort of weight saving or just sort of cooling areas, just so it's easier to keep the real one and the barrel cooler. Again, you can then attach everything. You do have to be aware of the ones that are about here. There is the gas block behind it, so you want to make sure you've got the shorter screws if possible, and you're not digging your attachments into the gas block. But it does mean that you can have all the other accessories like torches and lasers and things like that. Across the top, we do have numbered RIS. So again, this is a feature that's becoming more and more common, especially if people are wanting to swap loadouts off. If you've got, we've got one here. So the current issued optic, now that we have RIS, has become the LCAN. So the SUSAT is no longer the sort of be all and end all that goes on the L85. It is now an LCAN with a dot on the top. So if you're wanting to go for that one-to-one look, you could get that, but then if you go to CQB and you're not really bothered about 4 times, you can drop to a dot, and then you've got these numbers on here, so you can drop this on at any point. So if you've got the LCON on 20 and 12, and then you want to drop a T1 on, and that goes on 22 and 18, you know them, and you can swap them around each other and just make sure it is in the exact same spot each time. The iron sights that come with it are drop down. There's no switches or anything. They are just detented, so you can throw them up as you see fit. The one on the front is Allen keyed in place, so you will need a tool to do that. The one at the back is QD, so you can just pull the lever out and it does rotate off, and then you can swap that out just in case it's in the way of LCANs or things like that. Normally, the front iron sight doesn't get in the way of any accessories, so it can just drop down. Sometimes the rear sight needs to be whipped off in a hurry. Coming back, we do have the polymer cheek rest and the polymer butt pad. The standard, this has been on from the A1, has the sling loop at the back, and then we have the controls. So because this has an ETU in it, the trigger does still work even when, the trigger locks out even though it's a MOSFET and it does have the trigger brake. The safety does lock the trigger out. So pressing the safety across then has your trigger, and then all the way at the back here, we have R for semi and A for auto, and then we have 2 functions for the bolt hold open. So again, racking the bolt back, it does hold open if you want to use the bolt hold open device, and then you can do your hop in there. So we have a rotary style hop. Up is to apply hop, down is to remove it, and then again, you can drop the bolt forward and put the shell door closed. Mag release on the left-hand side drops out the 90 round mid-cap magazine. This is where one of my first gripes turns up. It's a good feature, it's a safety feature, but it seems a little bit unintuitive that you can't turn it off. So when the magazine is not in, the gun will not fire. It has a little switch in the magwell, just about there, that detects when the magazine is in. It also then has a reset function, either pressing the bolt hold open or the reset on either side. That then tells the gun to check whether or not there's a mag in, and if you pull the trigger, it will fire. So every time you rip a mag out and put it back in, regardless whether or not you were empty or not, you will have to press that button and just let the gun know that you've put a magazine back in it. Flipping it all the way over, we come to what we used to use as the Haribo storage, but it is actually your battery compartment. So you have a Tamiya connector in there. It is quite deep, so you can get a decent sized battery in there, and it is 11-1 with it being a G&G. Obviously, this has got a programmable trigger as well. So you do have 8 pre-cocking settings. You've got a 3-round burst and a 5-round burst. So because we have semi and full auto at the back, you can't have a 3-round and a 5-round. It just turns the auto setting to either a 3-round or a 5-round. There is an active braking setting and a default setting as well. So if you don't know what you've set it at, you can't remember what you set your pre-cocking to or anything like that, you can reset and start again. It is a slightly more complex way of setting than it is with other ETUs. It's almost like you need to read which setting you want and then almost tap a code into the trigger to set it, because if for whatever reason you stop pulling the trigger for 5 seconds, it will exit the programming mode. And again, once you've set everything, you're good to go. Make sure you press your switch. We have platforms like this a lot where people get them, they plug a battery in, they go to fire it, can't fire it, put a magazine in, still doesn't fire. Just be aware, you need to click your bolt switch and make sure the platform knows that it's got a magazine in it. With it being G&G, and this is the first one that we've got our hands on, we're unaware of if it is a type bore, so we are currently stating that it's a 6.08 until we get our hands inside it and we do a physical check. And with it being an L85, it is quite heavy as well. So in its current format, it's about 3.5 kilos. Big chunk of that is here, so it doesn't really feel like a heavy platform. It sits in the shoulder reasonably nice, and you can sort of run around this for a decent period of time. And obviously with it not having a extended or collapsing buttstock, it is in its set length about 78.5 centimeters roughly, and again that will depend if you've put a can or something on the front of it. And we do have a 510 millimeter inner barrel. Again, the one thing that is good about bullpups in a personal setting, I do think they take a little bit too long to reload compared to standard platforms, but in an AR platform this big, we have a barrel this long. So with the trigger here, normally you'd expect a barrel to start there, but it starts all the way back here. So you're getting extra 150, 200 millimeters of inner barrel in a compact sort of AR style platform. So its benefit is accuracy, range, sort of group tightness, and all them good things. So we are going to put a battery in this. We're going to take it upstairs. We'll throw the L-can on it. We're going to show you it putting some rounds down range, because it is quite impressive. It's got that quiet gearbox you'd expect from a G&G. It's got a really responsive gearbox as well. So we're going to throw some BBs. If you want to join me on the range upstairs, and we'll start loosing off a couple of rounds. Join me in a minute. Hi guys, so we've made it up to the range and I thought I'd demonstrate the mag detection system on the L85 just so you know how it works. So as you can see, with no magazine in, pulling the trigger, dead. And if we press the switch, it will fire once, but then it detects there's no mag. If we drop a magazine in, obviously it will not fire until we tell the weapon that it has a magazine in it. Checking that we're on semi. Really nice and responsive, and if we drop down to full auto, and again, you can see the weapon does still dry fire, even though there's no BBs left. If I take the magazine out, goes dead, a new magazine in, still goes dry, and then you would have to press it to tell it that there are rounds in it. So you can see, really responsive. You could set this in with pre-cocking, full auto, burst, 5-round burst, exactly how you want. And obviously we've put the L-can on it just so it matched the real steel sort of setup. So as always, Let us know how you would set this up. Would you run it in its one-to-one configuration, or would you trick it out slightly differently? Maybe a PECBox dot, EOTech, something slightly different. And as always, thank you very much for Nuprol for getting us this a little bit early before our normal order. And if you're after one of these, make sure you check out the website. As soon as these go live, we will have an email back in stock button. So as soon as these land in our warehouse, you will get a notification. But if that is everything for today, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.